midpoint converters, that is M2 connection with inductive load. This is also called as center tap full wave rectifier with inductive load. It is inductive load. In this inductive load, in the circuit diagram, we will see how a series inductor is connected with a resistor. Although we have shown in the circuit diagram that the load is inductive, but we will see that a resistor is always connected in series with that inductor. So this is the circuit diagram for single phase full wave silicon controlled rectifier. It is also called as biphase half wave circuit. Now if you look at the circuit construction, we see that there is a single phase AC supply at the input. Then we have a transformer. It is a center tap transformer. It is having three windings A, N, B. The center tap winding N, the center tap winding N will divide the output voltage across the secondary voltage into two equal voltages E1 and E2. The voltages E1 and E2 are equal because it is a center tap transformer. At the secondary winding at terminal A, SCR T1 is connected. At secondary terminal B, second SCR T2 is connected. The common cathode of both SCRs T1 and T2 is connected to the inductive load with respect to the center tap winding N. Voltage E1 is equal to E1 is equals to Em sin omega t. Similarly, voltage E2 will be equal to Em sin omega t. So the total voltage across terminal A and B will be equal to twice of Em sin omega t, as it is a center tap winding. This R and L represents a inductive load, and we will obtain the output DC voltage across this inductive load. Okay, so this is the circuit construction. What we have two SCRs, SCRs T1, T2. We have not shown a triggering circuit over the gate terminals of T1 and T2. It is assumed that it is having a gate triggering circuit. Okay, then we have a center tap transformer. Load, inductive load. RL represents the inductive load. L for inductor, R for series resistance. Output voltage will be obtained EDC across this inductive load. So this is single phase AC supply. Input is like this. So we will get output equal here also. And here also the same output. And output voltage across, say I'll write here somewhere here. Output voltage is equals to twice of Em sin omega t. Why this 2? Because it is a center tap transformer. Okay, it is a center tap transformer, so voltage AN is equals to VN. Therefore, AB, voltage AB is equals to voltage AB is equals to twice of voltage AN. Now we will discuss the working of this biphase half wave circuit or midpoint converter or center tap full wave rectifier with inductive load. Figure 4.14 shows the circuit diagram of single phase full wave or biphase half wave control rectifier with RL load. The various voltages and current waveforms of the circuits are shown in the figure, this figure. Okay, so and the waveform will continue up to the angle 2 pi. We have seen the waveform is going up to the angle 2 pi. 2 pi means full wave. The output will be obtained across the positive half cycle of the AC input as well as the negative half cycle of the AC input. Positive half cycle ranges from 0 to pi and negative half cycle ranges from pi to 2 pi. So we will obtain the output voltage for a complete cycle, and hence it is called as single phase full wave rectifier. Why it is called as biphase half wave control rectifier? Because we will obtain output for the positive half cycle, negative half cycle. Okay, positive half cycle also we are getting the output, negative half cycle also we are getting the output. So positive half cycle, negative half cycle, biphase. For each half cycle we are getting output, that's why half wave. So the name is given biphase half wave control. Biphase means positive half cycle as well as negative half cycle, and half wave means for positive half cycles we will get output, for negative half cycles we will get the output. For both the phases positive as well as negative, we are getting the output, and hence it is termed as biphase. Then with reference to figure, SCRT1 can be fired SCRT1 can be fired into the on state at any time after E1, means this input voltage across the secondary winding AN goes positive. Once the SCRT1 is turned on, the current buildups in the inductive load, means as soon as positive half cycle comes across this SCR, okay, positive half cycle comes across this SCR, it will get forward bias. As it is forward bias, and when we apply the triggering pulse at this gate terminal, SCRT1 will turn on. When SCRT1 will turn on, the current will start flowing through this SCR, and hence the current will start building up across the inductor. So the most important point to remember here is that the function of inductor. What is the function of inductor? It will oppose the rate of change of current through it, and hence a current will build up across the inductive load. As it is opposing, means it will store some energy across this inductor. However, once E1 goes negative, E2 becomes positive, and when E2 becomes positive, when this E2 means voltage across B and N will become positive, this SCR T2 is fired by giving a triggering pulse at this gate terminal. Okay, At the same time, T1 is reverse biased. Okay, so during the negative half cycle, this SCR T1 will be turned off and SCR T2 will be turned on. The thyristor voltage Vt is developed across each of the thyristors. When the thyristor T1 is off, voltage will develop across Vt1. When thyristor T2 is off, voltage will develop across thyristor T2. The peak reverse or peak inverse voltage that appears across thyristor is twice of the input voltage. Why twice? Because at the secondary winding, as it is center tap transformer, the output voltage is the twice of the input voltage. And hence, this SCR has to, both the SCR must have the peak inverse voltage rating or the peak forward voltage rating is equal to twice of the maximum input voltage. If the voltage rating, peak inverse voltage rating or peak forward voltage rating across SCR is less than twice of the EM, means twice of the maximum input voltage, both this SCR will burn. The load current may be continuous or discontinuous depending upon the value of the inductor. The load current is continuous if inductive value is greater than the critical value. If inductive value is greater than the critical value, the load current is continuous. And if the value of inductive load is less than the critical value, the load current is discontinuous. We will see what is continuous and discontinuous in the waveform. Here we have assumed that thyristor conducts for a period of 180 degree. If you look at the waveform, we are considering the SCR will conduct for full positive half cycle, that is from 0 to pi is 180 degree, and the conduction current is continuous. Also, if both the thyristors are triggered at the same time and with the same delay angle, they share the same load current. If they are triggered at the same instant, at same delay angle, they will share the same load current. Means the load current is equal for the both SCRs. As shown in this figure, due to large inductance in the circuit and the continuous current conduction, the thyristor continues to conduct. The thyristors continue to conduct even when the anode voltage are negative with respect to cathode. So this is a stored voltage across the inductor. So what I am saying, the thyristor continue to conduct even when the anode voltages are negative with respect to cathode. Output DC voltage can be obtained as, if we want to calculate, then output DC voltage EDC is equals to 1 upon pi integration of alpha to pi plus alpha. Why 1 upon pi? We are getting output for both the positive half cycles as well as negative half cycles. So what is the conduction angle from 0 to pi, and from here pi to 2 pi? So what is the difference between pi to 2 pi? Answer is pi. Difference between 0 to pi? Answer is pi. So we have to integrate all the values for this pi degree from 0 to pi. Here also it is 0 to pi. So we have to integrate all these values. Now when the SCR is conducting at the firing angle alpha, so we are getting output when SCR is triggered. So alpha can be 0 degree, alpha can be 1 degree, 2 degree, 3 degree, up to 180 degree. Okay. So we have to integrate values from alpha to pi plus alpha. Why pi plus alpha is considered? Because the thyristors will continue to conduct even when the anode voltages are negative with respect to cathode. That's why pi plus alpha. If we keep on solving it, EDC is equals to EM by pi minus cos omega t from alpha to pi plus alpha. Solving it further, we get EDC is equals to EM by pi cos alpha minus cos of pi plus alpha. It's very simple integration calculation. Okay, upper limits and lower limits. Solving it further, we get EDC equals to twice of EM by pi cos alpha. Now this value EDC is the average value. And how we calculate the average value? Sum of the all values divided by the total number of values. How we calculate the average? All values divided by the number of values. So this twice of EM cos alpha is the all values and pi is the number of values. Hence it is assumed that both the thyristors are triggered with the same firing angle, hence they share the load current equally. Each half of the input wave is applied across the load. Thus, across the load, there are two pulses of current in same direction. See, if we see, if we look at the firing angles for positive half cycle and for negative half cycle, the alpha is same. Okay, hence they share the equal load. Thus, across the load, there are two pulses of current in the same direction. Why there is the same directional current flow? We'll see further. After showing both the diagrams, I will show you. Hence, the ripple frequency across the load is twice that of the input supply frequency. Some conclusions can be made from these equations. The highest value of this voltage will be when the firing angle is 0. Obviously, when the firing angle is 0, means this shaded portion will start from this 0 degree, means we will get output from this point also, from this point also. So when alpha equals to 90 degree, the voltage is 0. Why? Because we are getting the half waving. This negative voltage will be equal to positive voltage. Therefore, the output voltage will be 0 and it is meaningless. This voltage is negative maximum when alpha is equals to 180 degree. When firing angle is 180 degree, we will get all the negative voltages. And when firing angle is 0, we will get all the positive voltages. This point is very important. When alpha is equals to 0, we will get all the positive pulsating DC voltage. When firing angle is 180 degree, we will get all the negative voltages. For alpha is equals to 30 degree. For example, we will see the next diagram. For alpha is equals to 30 degree, more power is fed into the load than it is received back. So we'll obtain more output voltage. And this is less negative voltage. So the total average DC voltage will be of larger values when alpha is equals to 30 degree. As the firing angle increases, so as the alpha is increasing, the output voltage will keeps on decreasing. And if alpha is equals to 90 degree, means at this point, the output voltage positive and the half waving negative voltage will be equal. So this negative voltage and positive voltage will cancel each other. If you look at this diagram. So for alpha equals to 90 degrees, this positive load voltage and this negative load voltage, both will cancel each other. So what is the total load voltage? 0. 0 is the load voltage. So it is meaningless. So we will not fire or trigger the SCR for alpha equals to 90 degree. See, average DC voltage is equals to 0 degree. For firing angle alpha greater than 90 degree, the DC voltage goes negative. At alpha equals to 180 degree, this is not A, this is alpha. Okay. At alpha equals to 180 degree, the negative DC voltage is maximum. You will see in this diagram. See, we are keep on increasing the alpha. So here the alpha is, means the firing angle is 150 degree. It is greater than 90 degree. So we are getting more negative voltages. And if it is equals to 180 degree, the negative voltage is maximum. Following conclusions can be made from these curves is that the period for which a thyristor is reverse bias reduces as the firing angle increases to 180 degree. To turn off a thyristor, it must be reverse bias or greater than its turn off time. Therefore, the maximum firing angle must be less than 180 degree. Why? Because to turn off a thyristor, it must be reverse bias. Unless and until the thyristor is reverse bias, it will not turn off. This is very important point. Once the SCR is triggered, it cannot undergo commutation by itself unless and until it is reverse bias. If we trigger the SCR by giving a gate pulses, it will conduct, it will turn on, but it will not turn off if you remove the gate pulses. Gate pulses are removed, SCR will not turn off. We have to purposefully flow reverse current from the SCR to turn it off. So if we compare these waveforms, here the alpha is less than 90 degree, here alpha is more than 90 degree. So here we will get maximum positive voltages for alpha less than 90 degree. Here we will get maximum negative voltages is alpha is more than 90 degree. So we will conclude this biphase half wave control circuit or center tap full wave control rectifier by once again summarizing the working as well as by observing the waveforms. First we will have a close look again for this circuit. I will show the directions of the current flow during what happens during the positive half cycle, what happens during the negative half cycle of the input waveform, and I will also explain these waveforms again so using these board diagrams so that there will be no confusion. So this is a circuit diagram for circuit diagram for center tap full wave rectifier, okay, with inductive load, means R in series with L. Okay, it is also called as M2 connection, also called as biphase half wave circuit. Okay, now we will see what happens during the positive half cycle, how is the direction of the current flow, and what is the direction of the current flow during the negative half cycle. So during the negative half cycle, sorry, we will start with the positive half cycle. So this is the input AC. So during the first we will consider the positive half cycle. For the positive half cycle, A is positive, this is negative, this is positive, and this is negative. So we see that SCRT1 is forward bias. Anode is this is anode terminal and this is cathode. Same, this is anode and this is cathode. So this anode is positive with respect to this cathode. So this SCR T1 is forward bias. and this SCR as anode is negative, so this SCR is reverse bias. Okay, if it is reverse bias means what? If this is reverse bias means this SCR is of no use during the positive half cycle. During the positive half cycle, this is of no use, means this is a open circuit. Now how the current will flow? You will see the direction of the current flow. So during the positive half cycle, when the triggering pulses are applied at this gate terminal, you are applying the triggering pulses at this gate terminal. Okay. So how the current will flow now? The current will flow. So as it is forward bias, the current will start flowing from this anode to cathode. As the SCR is triggered, it will conduct. It will start from this R, then it will go through the inductor and comes back. So this is the direction of the current flow. Why the current will not flow from this SCRT2? It is reverse bias. That's why. Okay. Now as this is an inductor, some voltage will be appeared across this inductor. So we'll label it as VL. So this voltage is appeared across inductor and it will store the energy, and the SCR will continue to get forward bias to continue get it will allows the continuous flow of current during the negative half cycle because of this inductor. Back EMF, we called it as a back EMF. Okay, so during the positive half cycle, the current will flow from this SCR to resistor through L and back to the negative terminal, and voltage will appear across inductor. And this, because of this inductor voltage, SCR will keep on continuously conducting during the negative half cycle also. Because I will tell you what happens during the, as when the next negative half cycle will come, the back EMF, this VL, will provide a current through this SCR. Hence we will get the voltage like this. After firing angle alpha, it will have voltage and then negative voltage. So this negative voltage is because of this inductor, and this positive voltage because of this SCR is forward biased. Okay. Now what will happen during the negative half cycle? So during the negative half cycle of the AC input, so we are giving the negative input. So here we will get the negative half cycle. If this is negative half cycle, A is negative, this point is positive, this point is negative, this point is positive. Now this SCR T1 is now reverse bias, hence it will not conduct, it will act as a open switch. Now this SCR T2 is forward bias. Okay, this SCR is forward bias, this is anode, this is cathode. Now this SCR is forward bias. We will apply the triggering pulse at this gate terminal. We trigger it and it will conduct. So during the negative half cycle, this SCR is off switch, no current will flow. So during the on switch, during the negative cycle, the SCR-T2 will conduct by applying the triggering pulses. Now we will see the direction of the current flow. So during the negative half cycle, the SCR T2 is now forward bias and the current will start flowing from here to from SCR to R to L and back to point N. So this is the direction of the current flow. during the negative half cycle. So again the load is inductive in nature. So again a voltage is developed across this inductor. Okay, and if the voltage is developed across this inductor, it will provide a negative voltage, and hence the current will keep on flowing through this SCR when we will have a negative cycle over here. Means first we'll get output voltage like this. For this negative voltage, if this is the input, we will obtain voltage like this, and again the half waving. So this is because of the inductor. Okay, and this voltage, this is because of this forward bias of the SCR. Okay, now we will see how the circuit works during both positive half cycle and negative half cycle. What is the direction of current flow from this positive half cycle as well as negative half cycle? What is the direction of current flow from this inductive load? So during the positive half cycle, so first we will consider the positive half cycle. The direction of current flow will be through this SCR is forward bias. Okay, so this is the direction of current flow. So this is the direction of current flow from this left hand side to right hand side. And from inductive load, the current is flowing from right hand side to left hand side. Okay. So this is the direction of current flow during the positive half cycle through SCR. The direction of current flow is from left to right, and from inductor it is from right to left. So this is important. Direction of current flow during the positive half cycle is from right to left. Now we will see the direction of current flow during the negative half cycle. So in the positive half cycle, SCR T1 conducts current direct, SCR T2 is reverse bias. Only SCR T1 conducts. The current flows through the SCR from this point A to SCR T1 to this R through this L. So direction of current flow during the positive half cycle is from this right hand side to left hand side. Now during the negative half cycle, I have shown this with the green color. During the negative half cycle, SCR T2 is conducting when triggering pulses are applied. SCR T1 is reverse bias, so it is not of use. So during the negative half cycle, SCR is conducting. The current will flow through its terminal B through this SCR, then from the R through L and back to the terminal N. So if you look at both this direction of the current flow during the positive half cycle as well as during the negative half cycle. So if you look at both these directions, the direction of current flow through the inductive load is same from right hand side to left hand side, from right hand side to left hand side. You look at the arrows, both the arrows are pointing in the same direction, and hence we will get the output for both positive half cycles as well as negative half cycle. So this This is for positive half cycle and this is for the negative half cycle. Because the direction of current flow is same. Direction of current flow through the inductive load in the positive half cycle as well as in the negative half cycle is same. So now let us have a look on the circuit diagram as well as on the waveform. So during the positive half cycle, this T1 is on. When T1 is on during this positive half cycle, okay, positive half cycle, at firing angle alpha, you will get the output. Okay. Now, why we are getting this half waving? This is called as half waving, means the SCR is conducting during the negative half cycle also because of this inductive load, because of this voltage across this inductor. Okay, this is during the positive half cycle, and here during the positive half cycle the SCR-T2 is off, hence it is acting as an off switch. The direction of current flow is from here, from like this. Okay. During the negative half cycle, SCR, this is negative half cycle, so T2 is on and T1 is now off. So we will, when the triggering pulses are applied, okay, during this negative half cycle, SCR T2 is on. So we are getting this output voltage across the load because of this negative half cycle. So the direction of the current flow is from T2 to the same. The direction of current flow is same. During the positive half cycle, it is from right hand side to left hand side. During the negative half cycle, it is also right hand side to left hand side. So as the direction of current flow during both the half cycles is same through the inductive load, hence we will get output in the same direction. And this output is again because of the voltage VL, it is obtained across this inductor, and SCR continues to conduct for this some portion of the another half cycle. That is, here in this case it is some portion of half cycle, means some portion of this positive half cycle. So in this way we are obtaining the half waving. This negative cycle's output is called as half waving, and this is actually our output. So if this half waving is increased, say if we consider here the firing angle alpha is less than 90 degree, so we will get the proper output. So if the firing angle alpha is equals to 90 degree, the outputs will be same, means we will get output this and this. So this positive output and this negative output will cancel each other, so the EDC will be equals to 0 when alpha is equals to 90 degree. So when alpha is equals to say 180 degree or less than or equal to, then we will get all this voltage, negative voltage, all the negative voltage. Now what is this? This voltage PIV is equals to twice of EM. So this output voltage is when one of the SCR is off. So this is VT. So VT1 equals to twice of EM. EM is the maximum output voltage. Here also this voltage VT2 is equals to twice of EM, and hence we'll get twice of EM. Because we are obtaining the output voltage at terminal A, B is equals to twice of EM. See, now we are comparing when alpha is alpha is equals to 150 degree. Here we will get the output. Here we will alpha is equals to around 150 degree. So we are getting the maximum negative voltage. Alpha here is uh, less than 90 degree, maximum positive voltage. So if you want maximum positive voltage, alpha must be less than 90 degree. So if you want maximum negative voltage, alpha must be 180 degree around. Okay, and if you want zero output voltage, zero output voltage, alpha must be equal to 90 degree. So this is all about half biphase half wave controlled full half wave control rectifier or M2 connections rectifier or center tap single phase full wave controlled rectifier. So these are various waveforms, and this is a circuit diagram for center tap. Single phase full wave controlled rectifier. We have also given the name biphase half wave rectifier. What is another name? Biphase. We have M2 connection or mid point converter. So these are the different names of the same circuit. Center tap single phase full wave control rectifier, biphase half wave rectifier, M2 connections or midpoint converters. This is all about biphase half wave circuit and its waveform. This is all about the working of single phase center tap full wave control rectifier for inductive load.